Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy TNL, and today we have a pretty special video for you today. I'm going to be trying to give you guys the most information I can on how to have a social life without losing focus on your main activities. You know, a lot of people think you have to pick either you want to focus on your goals, you know what I'm saying, lock in, isolate yourself, or live in a social, you know what I'm saying, kind of atmosphere, like a party atmosphere, and lose all your focus. But necessarily it's not true. You can live a balanced life and you can have a little bit of both. You know, you can have a little bit of this piece of the pie and a little bit of this piece of the pie. But you have to realize what comes with each side of those pies. The key is being intentional. It's not just drifting whenever your friends pull you. Your 20s are especially really tricky with this. You know, it's kind of where you lay the foundation for your future. It's also, you know, where you feel like your social life is the most active, which is kind of crazy. You would think that high school would kind of be like that realm, but once you kind of get out into the world and you really can expand and see how connected and how verse, you know, everything is, it just really broadens your horizon. Uh, Too much isolation makes you bitter and disconnected. You know, you kind of want to not, you know, be too isolated, you know, for a long period of time. Too much socialization though also will leave you broke and stuck. You know what I'm saying? If you're out at the bar every, you know what I'm saying, weekend, every day, you know, you're gonna end up spending a lot more money on, you know, alcohol, you know what I'm saying, things you don't necessarily need for a day-to-day basis. But there is a point where balance is possible and you can figure this out. And when you do, you'll be miles ahead of people who burn out, you know what I'm saying, one way or the other. You gotta get down to the point where you know what social life means for you. You know, most people will never define what a social life means to them. They'll just kind of just react and, you know, show up to whatever invite that, you know what I'm saying, pops up, you know what I'm saying, from their friend or in their inbox, whatever, on a story. They just kind of, you know what I'm saying, I'm there, that type of person. That's why they feel drained, because they're not intentional. They're not doing things with intention. They're just kind of going with said flow. You gotta ask yourself, do I want a small circle of friends that I trust deeply, or do I want to meet new people and network, or am I just filling my boredom? You know, whatever version you decide to define for yourself, you know what I'm saying, you'll stop saying yes to, you know what I'm saying. Okay, let me reset that. When you define your version, you'll stop saying yes to empty socializing that distracts you. You gotta cut out empty socializing. Empty socializing is basically the number one way people lose focus. It's hanging out with people with when really like nobody wants to be there. It's the parties where you spend the money you don't have. You know, craziness, right? Like the late nights where you be definitely regretting what you're doing the next morning. Come on, like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The truth, you don't need to be anywhere. You don't, sorry, the truth, you don't need to be everywhere. Most people are just scared to miss out. They have FOMO, as people call it. But missing out on something meaningless is actually winning. Let that sit with you for a second. Pick your events intentionally. A balanced social life would mean quality over quantity, you know? Instead of saying yes to 10 random invites, pick a few key things that you know will add value into your week. You know, a group dinner, say with family, you know, friends, a workout with friends. You know, everybody's getting together and they're all striving to do something that's actually making life, you know, better for everybody, you know, making everybody more healthy, you know, is always a good vibe. Maybe one party, maybe an event you actually enjoy, you know, maybe that's actually doing something. It could be like a charity event. It could be a concert. Maybe it's not so often though, so it's like very special, you know. And there you can go to fun parties, you know. I'm not gonna be like a, you know, I don't know, I'm not gonna be like a you can't go outside type of guy, but just be smart with your decisions, of course. That way, when you do go out, you're fully present. You know, you're not stressed about your goals because you already know you put the work in. You already know you put the, you know what I'm saying, an arm and a leg, blood, sweat, and tears into your work. So you're having more of a good time when you're out because you're not stressed about these things. That's a thing I had to learn too. Not too long ago when college first started, and I was going out, and I don't think I had it all, I think, figured out at the moment. But as I went on, I came to, come to the realization that maybe I should just take a step back, and then, you know what I'm saying, when I'm ready, I can come back. But you kind of get absorbed in the work, after a while, and you don't even really want to come back. That's kind of when you know what I'm saying, you've reached a certain point. But, next section. Put focus first in your schedule. Here's your cheat code. Don't let your social life set your schedule. Set your focus first. That means when you're locking in on your priorities like school, your business, or, health concerns, content, whatever your mission is, whatever you want to do with your life, you got to put those hours in stone. You got to, set those hours in stone. However much work you got to do. If you got to edit a video, let's say, if you got to go meet with some clients, if you got to do whatever you got to do, finish some homework, fit the time around that. And then fit the social things, whenever you're out of those activities or when you were finished with them. When you do this, your social life becomes a reward and not so much of a distraction. You actually enjoy it more because you're not secretly feeling guilty for what you didn't do. And this kind of goes back to the section before. Choose the right people. Your circle is everything. If your friends only want to waste time, gossip, escape reality, then they'll drag you with them. But if your friends are building, learning, and actually going somewhere, you'll still have fun, but you'll also have some room to grow. The people you spend the most time with are shaping whether you notice it or not. So if you ask yourself, are my friends helping me level up, or are they holding me back? You just gotta really think about that and come to terms with what are people doing for you? What are you doing for yourself? I mean, not everybody has to do something for you necessarily, but just have a thought about it, at least a thought or two. Control your social budget. Social life costs money: food, drinks, gas, tickets, Ubers. However you gotta get it, however you gotta do it. Most people never really track it. That's why they always, stay on the lower end of the money kind of side. So you gotta set a clear budget for fun. You can't just overdo it. Not to kill your vibe, I ain't gonna lie, but to give you freedom, because when this is my money, you can go out and enjoy it fully instead of stressing or overspending. You know what I'm saying? Because when this is my money, that you can go out and fully enjoy it instead of stressing and overspending it. Blend social with productive. This is one of the smartest things that makes your social life productive sometimes. I said something about it before: working out with friends, studying, or building something together. Let's say like a business partner, you know what I'm saying? Somebody you're doing content with. Go to networking events or creative meetups that kind of express these ideas, that you can meet like-minded people and kind of find some people in your same wavelength, and then just one, thing leads to another, and then y'all are just, creating amazing stuff together. Talk, talk ideas, like not just about other people and, like things that are not important. This way you're building relationships and momentum that lasts at the same time. It's not about being serious all the time, but it's more so about making sure your time with people also leaves you better than before, which is always the goal. You gotta always, with everything that I've been saying before, you have to always also consider that you have to respect your recovery. Even good socializing drains your energy, and this is something that people don't realize. once they're doing it so often. If you're out until 2 a.m. every weekend and your body and your focus, it's just all gonna pay the price. Like, rest isn't weakness. Like, everybody needs to sleep, please. Um, uh, it's what keeps your focus sharp. Enough to actually execute on your goals. Protect your sleep, your mornings, your recovery. It's how you stay consistent in the long term. And if you actually want to party, you gotta you have to actually do these things. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, that is basically really the video. A social life without focus is just chaos. Focus without a social life is isolation. So you really mostly just want to find a balance of both of those. And it's built all on intention. So make sure you define what you want. You cut out the noise that's just not meant for you. Choose the right people to be around. Control your money and your time, two most important things, and you'll have both success and connection in your life. But drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this. Subscribe to TNL, and yeah, I'll be seeing you guys soon.